For decades, Inez Weski was one of the most respected criminal defense lawyers in the Netherlands. She represented some of the country's most controversial clients. She was known for taking on cases that many other lawyers wouldn't touch. But in April 2023, everything changed. The woman whose job was to defend one of the Netherlands' most notorious criminals suddenly became the subject of a criminal investigation herself. According to Dutch prosecutors, Weski was suspected of involvement in passing messages linked to Ridwan Taghi. The allegations shocked the country, because this wasn't just another criminal case. It was a case involving one of the most famous lawyers in Dutch history. So how did Inez Weski go from respected attorney to criminal suspect? In our previous video, we looked at allegations that Ridwan Taghi may have continued communicating from inside the EBI prison. Investigators believed messages were somehow reaching the outside world. As prosecutors searched for answers, their investigation gradually expanded, and eventually it led them to someone few people expected, Taghi's own lawyer, Inez Weski. Long before her name became connected to Ridwan Taghi, Inez Weski had already built a legendary reputation. For decades, she was one of the most recognizable criminal defense lawyers in the Netherlands. She represented high-profile suspects, complex criminal cases, and some of the most controversial figures in Dutch society. Throughout her career, Weski developed a reputation for being fearless. She often argued that every suspect deserves a proper defense, regardless of the accusations against them. That belief made her one of the country's most respected lawyers. But it would also place her at the center of one of the biggest legal controversies in modern Dutch history. After Ridwan Taghi was arrested in Dubai in 2019, he needed legal representation. Eventually, Inez Weski became one of the lawyers defending him in the Marengo trial. At the time, this was not unusual. Representing controversial clients was something Weski had done throughout her career, but Taghi was no ordinary defendant. He was considered by prosecutors to be one of the most influential organized crime figures in the Netherlands. And because of that, every aspect of the case was subject to extraordinary scrutiny. As concerns grew about alleged communication from prison, Dutch authorities began investigating how messages could have left the EBI. Prosecutors focused on people who still had access to Taghi. According to the Public Prosecution Service, evidence eventually led investigators toward Weski. Authorities suspected that messages linked to Taghi were being transmitted through confidential communication channels. The allegations were extremely serious, not only because of who was involved, but because they touched one of the most fundamental principles in any legal system: the confidential relationship between lawyer and client. In April 2023, Dutch authorities arrested Inez Weski. The news immediately dominated headlines across the country. Many people were shocked, not only because of the allegations, but because arrests involving defense attorneys are exceptionally rare. The legal world reacted immediately. Some believed prosecutors had uncovered something deeply troubling. Others worried about the consequences for attorney-client privilege. The case quickly became far bigger than just Weski herself. It became a debate about the limits of government power and the protection of legal rights. Inez Weski has consistently denied knowingly participating in criminal activity. She has challenged the allegations and criticized aspects of the investigation. Her supporters argue that important legal principles are at stake. They believe the case raises serious questions about confidentiality and the role of defense lawyers. Meanwhile, prosecutors maintain that the investigation was necessary because of the seriousness of the suspicions. As legal proceedings continued, public debate only intensified. Perhaps the most important question is not simply whether messages were passed. The bigger question is what this case means for the Dutch justice system. How far should authorities be allowed to go when investigating organized crime? Can confidential communication between lawyers and clients ever be completely protected? And where should the line be drawn? Those questions remain controversial to this day. For decades, Inez Weski was known as one of the most respected criminal defense lawyers in the Netherlands. Today, her name remains linked to one of the most controversial investigations in recent Dutch history. Whether the allegations ultimately prove true or false, the case has already left a lasting impact on the legal world, and years from now, it may still be remembered as one of the most extraordinary chapters in the story of Ridwan Taghi. What do you think? Did authorities go too far? Or were they right to investigate? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to Crime Static for more stories about organized crime and the biggest cases in Europe.